Good day. This is a quick walkthrough of Azure Mobile Services. This screencast will allow you to get a feel for creating a mobile service and connecting up a web page from the sample that's provided during the creation process. Our first step is to sign into your Azure portal. I have an MSDN Ultimate subscription, however your screen as you walk through these examples may be a little different. On the menu bar on the left, you'll see the various services available to you in Azure. Click on the Mobile Services tab and you will see all of the mobile services that are currently set up. Yours might be empty, but as you create your mobile services, they'll display here on the page. It's important to note the three columns on the screen: backend, location, and URL. The backend for this example is going to be JavaScript, but you could certainly choose .NET as your backend as well. The location will be the data center that's closest to you or closest to where you're going to consume these services. The URL is important, as the URL is really the name of your service. The next step in the creation process is fairly straightforward. We want to select New, and you'll see the Compute Services. We want a mobile service, and we're going to Create. Now we have to enter the first part of the URL. Whatever you select here, let's say something.azure-mobile.net, has to be unique and will really become the name of the mobile service. And you'll see that this name is already in use, so just tack something at the end. And so once you have your name, we're going to select a database. You have three selections in the drop-down box. If this is your first service you're creating, you can create a free 20 meg database. If not, you can either use your existing SQL database or create a new database instance. We're going to create a new database instance. Now our region, for my site, I select Eastern US. And again, this should be close to where you're consuming the service, but really it's wherever your client activity or wherever you're going to use this. And select your backend, really JavaScript or .NET. And what we're going to do is just select JavaScript for this point. We're not going to select any advanced push settings at this time. So what we're going to do now is go to the next screen. For example, I already had a database server set up, so I've chosen to create a new database instance. The name will pre-populate with the name of the service URL you created in the previous step with an _DB attached to it. We'll select the server, which will then ask me to log on to it. So we'll select the server. We have our password. And you'll see just before we hit the next, there's a configuring the advanced database settings, which will actually give us another panel. So if we go to that panel, the advanced settings allow you to select service tiers, size, collation, and performance level. The settings are beyond this quick walkthrough. However, the MSDN site under mobile services has the explanations. Click on the check mark to start the creation process. And as you'll see here, you'll get a status as it's creating, and once we get the green check mark and ready, we can continue with the next step. Now that a service has been created, we can click on the service, which will bring up the detail screen. This is the main dashboard for the service. There are many features and settings available along the top of the screen. Hitting the cloud here will always bring you back to this screen. There are a number of platforms you can choose for your application. Since the REST APIs are created, you can use any platform listed for your application. We'll use the JavaScript HTML for our example. Make sure that this is selected, and under the Get Started, click on the Create New HTML App. As a drop-down comes down, you'll see that there are three options. The first one, we need to create a table. I've already clicked on this. You need to download and run the application. So what we're going to do is we're going to download the code that's been created. Save that to our download directory. Very small, so it's quick. Now that we have everything, what we're going to do is we're going to go down and unzip that file. So what I've done now is I've unzipped that file, and these are the directories. You'll see there's the HTML and supporting files. And if we go into server, you'll see that there's a shortcut which will run a PowerShell script that will run IIS Express. And so IIS Express is running. So if we remember back on our page, there was a localhost 8000. So if we click on localhost 8000, it runs the HTML files that have been downloaded. We'll wait a second for everything to connect. And notice there are no items. So we'll add an item. Added item as a task. And we'll add. And you'll see it's added. Added another. Oops. Added another. We'll mark one as done. So now that we've added those tasks, what we're going to do is if we go back to the mobile service page, and we go back to my mobile service, there's the data tab. So if we click on data, we'll see the table that was created. We'll see the 2 records that were added. So in essence, what we have now is we've been able to create the web service, the mobile service, we've been able to create the database, and we downloaded the code. So we've used the mobile service wizards to create our REST APIs, download the sample code, and have our local server communicating and writing our data to our new service. I encourage you to find out more at the link on the screen, and hope you've enjoyed the screencast. Thanks a lot.